Welcome to Quiz Quest, the channel where curious minds test their knowledge. Today, we're challenging you with 20 general knowledge questions about the historical events that shaped the world, divided into 4 thrilling levels of difficulty. From the easiest to the most challenging, each answer reveals fascinating insights about our past. Remember, if you need more time, feel free to pause the video. Are you ready to face the challenge and conquer all 4 levels? Let's get started. Who was responsible for the independence of India? Mahatma Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru, or Subhas Chandra Bose? Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi was the key leader in the fight for India's independence from British rule. His revolutionary approach was the philosophy of nonviolence, known as ahimsa, which rejected the use of force to achieve political goals. Gandhi organized peaceful protests, boycotts, and strikes, highlighting events such as the famous Salt March of 1930, where thousands of Indians walked to the sea to collect salt, defying British colonial laws. His leadership inspired millions of Indians to unite in a common effort to achieve independence, which was finally attained in 1946. Gandhi's figure remains a global symbol of the struggle for justice and peace. In what year did World War II end? 1944, 1945, or 1946? 1945. World War II ended in 1945, marking the conclusion of one of the most devastating conflicts in history. In May of that year, Germany unconditionally surrendered after the fall of Berlin and the death of Adolf Hitler, signaling the end of the Third Reich. However, the war continued in the Pacific until September, when Japan also surrendered following the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki by the United States. Japan's surrender was formalized on September 2, 1945, aboard the USS Missouri, bringing an end to the war on all fronts. This event also marked the beginning of a new era of global tensions, known as the Cold War, between the major world powers. Who was the Nazi leader who ordered the Holocaust? Heinrich Himmler, Joseph Goebbels, or Adolf Hitler? Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler was the Nazi leader who ordered the implementation of the Holocaust, a series of atrocities perpetrated by the Nazi regime between 1941 and 1945 during World War II. Hitler, as Führer of Nazi Germany, promoted an ideology of racial hatred that considered Jews, Romani people, people with disabilities, Soviet prisoners of war, and other groups as inferior. Under his command, millions of people were systematically persecuted, deported, and killed in concentration and extermination camps like Auschwitz. The Holocaust resulted in the deaths of approximately 6 million Jews, along with millions of other victims. This genocide is considered one of the most atrocious crimes in human history. In what year did the attack on Pearl Harbor occur? 1938, 1940, or 1941? 1941. The attack on Pearl Harbor occurred on December 7, 1941. When Japanese air and naval forces launched a surprise attack on the U.S. naval base in Hawaii. This attack destroyed a large part of the U.S. Pacific Fleet, including 8 battleships, several aircraft, and left over 20,400 dead. The attack on Pearl Harbor was a crucial turning point in the history of World War II, as it led to the United States declaring war on Japan the following day, December 8, 1941. This event also marked the entry of the United States into the global conflict, changing the course of the war. In what year did man land on the moon? 1965, 1969, or 1971? 1969. Man landed on the moon on July 20, 1969, during the historic Apollo 11 mission by NASA. Commander Neil Armstrong and lunar module pilot Buzz Aldrin were the first humans to walk on the lunar surface, while Michael Collins remained in lunar orbit aboard the command module. When Neil Armstrong took his first step on the moon, he uttered the famous words, "That's one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind." This achievement marked a milestone in space exploration and became a symbol of the technological and scientific supremacy of the United States during the Cold War. Awesome! You're now at the intermediate level. Let's keep the momentum going. Which U.S. president authorized the use of the atomic bomb on Japan? Harry S. Truman, Franklin D. Roosevelt, or Dwight D. Eisenhower? Harry S. Truman. Harry S. Truman, President of the United States, was the one who authorized the use of atomic bombs on Japan in August 1945. This decision was made to accelerate the end of World War II, avoiding a costly land invasion of Japan, which was expected to result in significant loss of life. On August 6, 1945, a U.S. bomber dropped the Little Boy bomb on Hiroshima, and 3 days later, on August 9th, the Fat Man bomb was dropped on Nagasaki. These attacks resulted in the deaths of approximately 200,000 people, mostly civilians. Japan's surrender on August 15, 1945, ended the war in the Pacific and World War II as a whole. In what year did the Berlin Wall fall? 1987, 1989, or 1991? 1989. The Berlin Wall fell on November 9, 1989, a historic event that symbolized the end of the Cold War and the beginning of Germany's reunification. For decades, the wall had divided Berlin into two, separating families and friends between West Berlin, controlled by the Allies, and East Berlin, under the communist regime of the German Democratic Republic. The fall of the wall was the result of a series of political and social changes in Eastern Europe, including pro-democracy movements and increasing pressure on communist regimes. This event led to the reunification of Germany in 1990 and marked the collapse of the Soviet bloc in Europe. What type of event triggered World War I? An assassination, an invasion, or an economic dispute? An assassination. The event that triggered World War I was the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria, heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, on June 28, 1940, in Sarajevo, Bosnia. Franz Ferdinand and his wife Sophie were killed by Gavrilo Princip, a Serbian nationalist who was part of a radical group seeking the independence of Slavic peoples under Austro-Hungarian control. This assassination sparked a series of alliances and conflicts between the great powers of Europe. Austria-Hungary, supported by Germany, declared war on Serbia, which quickly involved other nations due to alliance treaties, leading to the outbreak of World War I. In what year did the French Revolution occur? 1777, 1776, or 1789? 1789. The French Revolution began in 1789 and marked a turning point in the history of Europe and the world. This popular uprising against the absolute monarchy of Louis XVI was caused by a series of factors such as the economic crisis, social inequality, and Enlightenment ideas promoting liberty, equality, and fraternity. The revolution resulted in the abolition of the monarchy, the proclamation of the French Republic, and the execution of Louis XVI. It also drove profound changes in political and social structures, influencing future revolutions and the spread of human rights and modern democracy. The French Revolution remains a symbol of the struggle for liberty and justice. What international conflict did the Treaty of Versailles end? Industrial Revolution, World War I, or World War II? World War I. The Treaty of Versailles, signed on June 28, 1919, ended World War I. This treaty, negotiated at the peace conference held at the Palace of Versailles, imposed harsh sanctions on Germany, which was considered responsible for the conflict. Among the most severe conditions were the loss of territories, the reduction of its military, the payment of large war reparations, and the acceptance of guilt for starting the conflict. Although the treaty sought to ensure lasting peace, many of its provisions generated resentment in Germany, which, combined with economic instability, contributed to the rise of Nazism and the outbreak of World War II. Don't give up! You've advanced to the difficult stage! Don't stop now! What empire was the main rival of the Roman Empire during antiquity? Byzantine Empire, Mongol Empire, or Persian Empire? Persian Empire. The Persian Empire, especially under the Sassanid dynasty, was one of the main rivals of the Roman Empire during antiquity. The two empires faced off numerous times over the centuries, particularly in the Roman-Persian Wars, which were prolonged conflicts along the Roman Empire's borders, mainly in the Mesopotamian regions. The Persians, with their powerful civilization and army, posed a constant threat to Rome as they competed for control of key territories in the Middle East. These wars had a significant impact on the politics, economy, and military strategy of both powers. Despite their conflicts, there were also periods of peace and cooperation between the two empires. What city was the capital of the Inca Empire? Machu Picchu, Cuzco, or Potosi? Cuzco. Cusco, located in present-day Peru, was the capital of the Inca Empire and the cultural, political, and religious center of this civilization. Considered the navel of the world by the Incas, Cusco was the most important city in the empire, which extended over much of South America. The city was the heart of the Tawantinsuyu, as the empire was called, and housed the emperor's palace as well as sacred temples like the Coricancha, dedicated to the sun god, Inti. In addition to its religious significance, Cusco was also a key commercial and administrative center. Today, Cusco remains an important archaeological and tourist site. What event marked the end of the Middle Ages in Europe? The fall of Constantinople, the fall of the Roman Empire, or the signing of the Magna Carta? The fall of Constantinople. The fall of Constantinople, on May 29, 1453, marked the end of the Middle Ages and the beginning of the modern age. This event occurred when the Ottoman Empire, led by Sultan Mehmed II, conquered the capital of the Byzantine Empire, leading to the collapse of one of the last remnants of Roman civilization in the East. The fall of Constantinople had a profound impact on Europe, as it closed the trade routes to Asia, prompting European powers to seek new routes to the East. Additionally, this event contributed to the spread of the Renaissance and the beginning of the expansion into the New World. What was the last European empire to abolish slavery? Portuguese Empire, French Empire, or British Empire? British Empire. The British Empire was the last European empire to abolish slavery, doing so in 1833 with the passage of the Slavery Abolition Act. Although the debate over slavery in the British Empire had begun much earlier, the law marked a milestone in the fight against slavery in British colonies, granting freedom to over 800,000 slaves in the Caribbean, North America, and Africa. This achievement was the result of decades of activism, such as that of William Wilberforce and the British abolitionist movement, who worked tirelessly to raise public awareness and pressure the government. The abolition of slavery in the British Empire had a global impact, inspiring similar movements in other nations. Which French monarch was beheaded during the French Revolution? Louis XVI, Louis XV, or Louis XIV? Louis XVI, Louis XVI, the last absolute monarch of France, was beheaded on January 21, 1793, during the French Revolution. His execution by guillotine marked a turning point in the revolution, symbolizing the fall of the old monarchical regime and the end of the monarchy in France. After being arrested, Louis XVI was tried and convicted of treason due to his attempts to flee the country and his alleged support for foreign powers that wanted to suppress the revolution. His death, along with that of his wife Marie Antoinette in October of the same year, was a decisive moment in the radicalization process that would lead the revolution into its most violent phase, known as the Reign of Terror.
You've unlocked the extreme level of difficulty. The ultimate challenge awaits you.
In which battle was the independence of the United States decided? Battle of Saratoga, Battle of Yorktown, or Battle of Bunker Hill? Battle of Yorktown. The Battle of Yorktown, fought in 1781, was the final major confrontation of the American Revolutionary War. During this battle, American forces, supported by French troops, successfully surrounded the British forces, commanded by General Cornwallis, leading to their surrender. This victory sealed the independence of the United States, as, after the British defeat, Britain agreed to negotiate peace, culminating in the Treaty of Paris in 1783, which recognized the independence of the 13 colonies. Which great empire was destroyed after the Battle of Gaugamela? Persian Empire, Macedonian Empire, or Roman Empire? Macedonian Empire. The Battle of Gaugamela, fought in 331 BC, was one of the most decisive battles in ancient history. In this battle, Alexander the Great, king of Macedonia, defeated the Persian Empire, led by King Darius III. The victory marked the end of Persian dominance in the region and allowed Alexander to solidify his control over the vast territory stretching from Greece to Central Asia. The Persian defeat at Gaugamela cemented the expansion of the Macedonian Empire, which reached its greatest size under Alexander's leadership, making him one of history's most iconic figures. In what year was the Magna Carta signed? 1215, 1225, or 1230? 1215. The Magna Carta was signed in 1215 by King John of England, also known as John Lackland. This historic document emerged after a political crisis between the monarch and his barons, who were dissatisfied with the king's abuse of power. The Magna Carta limited the monarch's power and guaranteed certain rights and freedoms to the subjects, establishing key principles such as the right to a fair trial and protection against arbitrary taxes. Although initially a temporary agreement, it became a fundamental reference for future democracies and the foundation of human rights. Who was the leader of the Workers' Revolution in Russia? Leon Trotsky, Joseph Stalin, or Vladimir Lenin? Vladimir Lenin. Vladimir Lenin was the main leader of the Russian Revolution of 1917, which marked the end of the Russian Empire and the beginning of the Soviet Union. Lenin, as head of the Bolshevik Party, led workers, soldiers, and peasants to seize power in the October Revolution. His leadership and Marxist-Leninist ideals transformed Russia, aiming to abolish class systems and private property. During his rule, Lenin implemented key reforms that laid the foundation for socialism in the country. His impact not only changed Russia's politics, but also influenced communist movements worldwide, leaving a lasting legacy in global history. Which famous empire disappeared after the Mongol invasion in 1258? The Abbasid Empire, the Roman Empire, or the Byzantine Empire? The Abbasid Empire. In 1258, the Mongol Empire, led by Hulagu Khan, destroyed the city of Baghdad, which was the capital of the Abbasid Empire. This event marked the fall of the last great bastion of Abbasid power. Baghdad had been a cultural, intellectual, and commercial hub for centuries, known for its library, university, and its significant role in the spread of knowledge in the Islamic world. The Mongol invasion also marked the end of the Islamic Golden Age. The destruction of Baghdad resulted in the loss of an irreplaceable cultural and scientific legacy, while paving the way for the Mongols to expand their empire across much of Western Asia and the Middle East. We've reached the end. How many did you get right? Share your score in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. If you enjoyed the challenge, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay updated with more fun challenges. Want to keep playing? Choose one of these two videos. See you in the next challenge.